Hello, hello. It is nearly 12:30. Thank you for coming, those who are here nice and promptly. I'll give it another minute just before I start for 12:30. I hope everyone's having a nice day. It's very sunny here in Wales where I am. Let me sure I've got my slides. Okay, hello. There's a few more people coming. Right, so these half an hours always go really quickly. So I'm going to get stuck in, and as more people are coming in, they will, I'm sure, get the gist of what we're doing. So, yeah, hello, Mark, Mel, Jessica, Dave. Hello, everybody. So, I will just share my file. Hang on a second. This was going to work. Let me see. Right, so hopefully everyone can see my slides. So welcome. You will notice that it says Tuesday. I'm aware it's not Tuesday. Apologies about that one. So I'm Katie Bullon. If you don't know me, I am the CEO and franchisor of Activ Marketing. So I've worked in marketing and franchising for over 22 years. I started after university in corporate, international roles, then went freelance on my own, and I've since been a franchisee of Activ, running the South Wales territory for about 6 years. And I then became the franchisor in 2021. So I've seen all sides of it, learned a lot along the way. So hopefully some of those learnings will be useful to share today. Outside of work, I am a wife, mum of three very busy children, who all are away on holiday this week without me. So, with my husband and my mum, so they're having a lovely time, and I'm here in lovely Wales with the puppy, the horses, and the hamster. So yeah, life is busy. Just a little insight into me there. So, by way of awards and recognition, Active and myself over the years, we have won various awards across the marketing, wider business community, franchising, which has been great to get that recognition for the work that we are so passionate about doing well. Um, I'm also a columnist for Elite Franchise magazine. If you go onto that website and search my name or Active, you'll find some articles that I've written over the past year or two. And I'm a regular columnist in the BFA magazine, which is the British Franchise Association magazine. So you can find me in there as well. And yeah, over the years, we've been featured in publications such as Forbes, Business Insider, on the wider story about what we're doing. Yeah. So Active as a network operates across the UK. We've got around 1,000 live clients at the moment. And that is serviced through around 20 franchise branches of Active. So, yes, let's have a look. So, before we start, you're here because maybe some of these things sound familiar. So, you might be self-employed, you might still be employed within marketing. So, if you're employed, you might be, you know, employed and working towards someone else's target, wondering if there's more out there that you could do for yourself. If you are self-employed, you might be turning down that next client or opportunity because there's no time left in your working week. Um, if it's you are operating as one person, you're going to be doing the strategy, the delivery, the invoicing, the admin. The list goes on all as one person, and often without someone to lean on for that support as you go through life as running a marketing business. You might be wanting your business to grow, but you don't necessarily just want to be working extra hour after hour to take on more clients. So, if any of this sounds familiar, you are in the right room, and I'm really hoping that you will have some nuggets of information shared today that will be really useful. So, in 30 minutes, we are going to run through why the freelancer ceiling exists and why it breaks, how to scale those 550, 200 clients without employing anyone, the systems, tool, and support that remove you as the bottleneck. I'm sure if you are already running a business in marketing and it is just you, you feel like the bottleneck a lot of the time, which is not what is going to help your business scale. And we'll look at the options around, reducing burnout, not wanting to employ a team and increase profits, all those kind of things. And I'll give you a few stats on the franchise industry just to give you an introduction to that if you're not familiar with the franchise industry. So when we look at the opportunity for marketers, there is businesses outsource. So we did a lot of research for a keynote that I did at the London Excel in April. And, we know that around 70% of businesses outsource at least one element of their marketing for delivery. And that outsourced growth grew 45% from the previous year. There is an opportunity. The economy and all those things are something for discussion another day, but businesses want to outsource marketing, and they also want that one trusted person to be their point of contact. So to maximize the opportunity that is out there as a single person running a marketing business, it's about having the structure and the systems to build a business that is able to scale so that, when that extra client comes on that feels too much, you can take that on with confidence. So the research also that we looked into, came up with this 5 clients as the ceiling, which is what we hear from a lot of people. And the research that we did looked into, the non-billable part of running a business and particularly a marketing business. So the research found that, 80 plus hours a month can be non-billable, which when you are selling time for money, that is a problem. It dilutes the value of the hours you are billing for. And, that 80 hours can look like sales, business development, admin, all of these things. And so our mission, particularly over the last couple of years, has been to build this business structure, system, backup, so that you are not having to spend all those hours month on month that are not billable. So we know from the research that, we are saving 45 hours plus a month of that 80 non-billable, which as we further develop our AI and tech support, that can be reduced in time as well. Day rates are another thing that cause a ceiling. It can feel really nice and steady when you have day rate clients, but your business is not robust. It takes one client to drop off, 2 clients to drop off, and your income can be back to square one. So the non-billable time is what stops you scaling, and day rates where you are trading time for money, they are not building a long-term business. Yeah. So hopefully that makes sense to some of you. So 3 ways to break that ceiling. So I'm going to go through these specifically. So when it comes to services, package it, don't just quote it. Building one system and using it every time, and adding recurring revenue streams to your business and the way that you trade. So when it comes to package it, don't quote it. Of course, there's going to be projects up front that, a one-off. They might be a strategy or a specific website build, system build. Of course, there's going to be situations where you are quoting, but it's about, where possible, tying that client in with a retainer for a longer term relationship by way of a package. So if you look at turning your best selling services into 2 or 3 fixed price tiers, which we know clients like to see, the options and the deliverables of each package, there's lots of positive implications across, the business you and for your client. So for the business, there's that faster sales cycle. If you are selling in a package with a certain amount of deliverables, for example, there's less back and forth and scoping all these individual proposals, which means you're maximizing the billing period, and hopefully reducing, the days where you're not in a billing cycle with a client. You also have those predictable margins when you are working on packages because you know the costs, you know that that package works for you to deliver, and you know that it works for what the client needs from a strategic perspective. It's also easier to systemize and hand it to someone else to support if you were going to employ anyone or if you were going on holiday, for example. So for you, there's much less admin and negotiating on every single inquiry because you have that framework to work to. You're not guessing and underpricing complex jobs, remembering what you quoted someone for similar a year before, reworking packages and prices specifically for a client. Because we know not all client proposals come off. The better that the proposals are, yes, there's a higher conversion rate, but it's about making sure that you're very niche and clear on what you offer so that you can attract the right clients into your business and retain them through that relationship that you build. So for your client, we know that clients like knowing what the deliverables are from a package rather than time, for example, where they feel like they might not be getting what they are paying for. They might be more skeptical when it comes to reports, etc. So that clarity is what clients really like. They also have the decision-making process and the conversion of proposals often seems much faster the more we've moved towards package approaches because they know that this is an offering that has come from a place of you being the expert and it's not just thrown together essentially. Yeah, it's all about building that trust. So that is one thing that I think can make your life much better and really improve your client retention. So building one system and using it every time. So this might be a process that you use for onboarding for a specific type of client. It could be a checklist post-launch for a system. It could be a briefing template or something that you use time and time again and seem to have to recreate every time. Now, if you can build that ideally, obviously, in an automation and within your CRM system, project management, but even as a starter point, having checklists in place for different client services or templates that you're using for different levels of proposals or pitches, it's about making things once and making them repeatable so that again your non-billable time is coming down every client. So for your business, it leads to consistent quality, regardless of who delivers the work or regardless of how busy you are at that point. It's easier to onboard clients, handle admin because it's following a fixed process or automation. That faster delivery and not reinventing yourself every time really means that more time can be spent on doing excellent client work rather than time being swallowed up in admin, which is very easy to happen. And for you, it's about reducing that mental load. You're not starting from scratch every time. You're not scrabbling around in a system trying to find a presentation that you did 3 years ago that then you need to spend half a day updating. It's about having very clear processes and a system that supports it to reduce that mental load. It's about getting those hours back, which we've been through. And some clients, they really need that level of nurture up front. They need the documentation, they need the FAQs. And if that is all built into a system and a process for a specific service, then you are saving time on having to do that manually every time. It makes it easier to take time off if the process doesn't live in your head. Our franchisees, for example, we offer them holiday cover. So we know because everyone is following the same system and processes, what will happen while they're off so we can cover them. But say you weren't part of the franchise and you had a freelancer that maybe came in and helped you out, that process living in a documented system or automation or workflow means that if something happens and you need to take time off, it's fine. So for your client, there's that faster turnaround from brief to delivery. If they are being nurtured through a system or a process, they know they're getting those consistent, reliable results every single time, and it's not relying on human input always for every single stage. And it's, there's less steps missed. We are human at the end of the day if everything lives in someone's head when we're delivering activity. Yeah, it's easier to miss things, and that doesn't help that client trust and, nurturing that relationship long term. Holding with time. Okay. So adding recurring revenue streams, this is something which is game changing and something that, our whole franchise model is built around. It's not about selling day rates, although, there might be a need for that now and again, but the whole recurring revenue system is about building a business that scales ongoing with new clients every month, which means that, if people drop off, if clients drop off, that you're not back to square one. And recurring revenue is what does that, reduces the admin side of it and increases the profitability. So for the business, that predictable income means you can plan and forecast around what that income looks like. The recurring revenue stream from a client leads to a higher lifetime value, particularly if they're obviously serviced well alongside and that relationship is built. We launched a subscription route for websites for kind of smaller businesses last year, and the upfront fee is not there. It's done on a subscription, which can feel like a loss when you're not charging upfront for that project. But the way it's built, that it's very hands off for the franchise partners, it's all handled. And when you work out through the forecast system that we use for franchisees, that lifetime value of the client, even without the upsell potential, it's all building and scaling and actually becomes more profitable over a certain time than just a one-off project, because that client can be with you long term, it can scale, or even if it stays at that level, it's amazing how, when you've got that reoccurring revenue from a client, the value is much greater than just one-off work. Your business is ultimately more resilient. So you are not relying on two, three clients dropping off to be able to, pay yourself that month. You are operating in a robust and resilient way to allow you to plan for the future. So for you, is that peace of mind? Your income cannot vanish overnight. I don't know how many people I've spoken to or seen on forums where, they've got a couple of clients dropping off and they are scrabbling for work and they're trying to offer discounts and they're trying to offer themselves out on, short-term contracts or even having to go back to employment. And, it's not about that being vulnerable as a self-employed person. It's about building for that long term so that you're not affected when a client drops off on a day rate, for example. It also means you've got less time chasing sales every single month if you are just relying on project income. And we know sometimes how often for an upfront project a client can take to sign things off. You might not be able to bill that month if the work isn't completed through no fault of your own. So this reoccurring revenue stream month on month, where the invoice level that is going out every month is where it needs to be. For your client, that ongoing support rather than transactional work again builds trust. You're able to then build better results for them over the time, and you are invested in their success as that one point of contact that they want for their outsourced marketing. And another thing we always talk about is where we're positioned in the market. So, that sweet spot that our research has shown people want one trusted partner. They don't want multiple expensive specialist agencies for the sector of the market we're working in. They also struggle to work with freelancers who, yes, give them that one-to-one relationship, but a freelancer on their own with no backup can't deliver the full suite of services ongoing that, someone who's that point of contact in that sweet spot, but with the backup of a full team can. So yeah, that works really well. Yeah. So the franchise alternative, if you don't know much about franchising, which a lot of people in the marketing industry don't, I've been within the franchise industry for the last 12 years now, and it's one of those industries that when you are in, you kind of get the bug for it, and there's a huge amount of opportunity. So in the UK, this was 2024 figures, so there'll be new figures out this year, I believe. But it was the BFA research showed that in the UK, the franchise industry accounts for about 19.1 billion pounds. And in terms of the success rate of franchise businesses, that sat at 99.5% versus 50% of an independent startup. So, that is because you are joining a business that has already got a proven framework. Whenever a new franchise launches, they have to run pilot territories to make sure that everything works and that the profit levels are there and that the system works. That obviously happened quite a long time ago for us, but yeah, it's about getting into a business that you are self-employed, have full ownership and control of, but everything is done once. We at head office build those systems, we build those campaigns, those service packs, those materials, templates, training, etc. And we can make sure that it is right so that it benefits across all of our territories, which is why, that's one of the reasons why the success rate is there. So for us as a franchise, we are a British Franchise Association accredited marketing franchise. And we are also listed in the EF 100 list this year, which is the top 100 franchises in the UK, and we're the only marketing franchise in that list. So there's around 1,020 franchise brands in the UK. So that places us in the top 10%, which we're very proud of. Yeah. So, recurring income and how that is delivered through Activ. As an example, we have various different options that franchisees sell into their clients. So, Active Thrive was one that I mentioned earlier, which is the subscription route for smaller businesses starting out for marketing and website services. Active Flow is our CRM and marketing system that franchisees have to run their business through, that's fully customized with, it does so much. That's a whole other session in itself. But that is something that you can also sell into clients on a subscription basis as well, which is a market leading software that we've white labeled and built out for our business. And it's a very cost effective route for an excellent CRM and marketing system for businesses. We're also about to launch our marketing department subscription. So based off all of the research we did, that businesses want this one trusted point of contact. They, are feeling the headache of employing a marketing team. So our marketing department subscription is something that we are soon to launch, which is a plug-in marketing support from one person, but with full delivery of, ongoing month-on-month marketing built and delivered through our system to their strategy and their brand rulebook, etc., for less than the cost of employing a single junior marketing head, slightly up. So that's an exciting thing that franchisees are really excited about, and we are already talking to quite a lot of clients about moving them onto that subscription. In terms of delivery, we give you the business in the box essentially, and that client absolutely maintains as your client. You can continue to deliver that yourself using all the systems and tools we give you, or you have the option to delegate to the head office team for various services. And the relationship kind of lead depends on how much you want us to have involved or take off your plate, and you choose that. So we can go into more detail if anyone does want to know more. But aside from that delivery side of things, the system is delivered, pricing contracts, like I mentioned, lead generation campaigns, and full community behind you to share on the journey. And so, the overall, benefits of Activ, if we were to sum up in just 3 points, is the HR costs. You can scale to 50, 100, 200 clients, as some of our franchise partners have already done, without employing anyone. So you can build a business that is not just a business where you are trading time for money. You can scale these amount of clients without the burnout. So the subscription delivery, shared support, means that growth isn't just about more hours from you. It's about following the framework and the system to be able to take those clients on in a way that works for them long term. Along with, the community and training that you need to not be on your own, because, it's difficult to run a business sometimes and you want to talk to people who are in the same situation. So our community space and platform where everyone shares different ideas and tips and asks questions, that is invaluable to our franchisees, and something that really came out in our recent survey that we did with them. Increased profits, we've talked about these recurring income, but the Activ system allows you to onboard clients into different services without having to give that time yourself straight away. Earning potential, these are quoted more in our brochure, which I'll give you the QR code if you want to download it if you haven't had it. So, as a BFA member, all of our figures that we quote in our materials are verified by them as they've seen our accounts, etc. And yeah, the earning potential is there for businesses that are either already set up and you want to scale clients, or if you are starting from scratch. So, time wise, it depends on where you are in your business, where you are in your experience of operating a business. But it's absolutely, put these figures are real, they have happened, and it's there for the taking. So that's something to discuss more on a call, but that's just a little bit of information for now. I just wanted to share quickly, these are a couple of our franchise partners as examples. So Lisa's been with us 15 plus years. She has got a huge amount of clients and she's continuously onboarding clients. Lou came from a corporate marketing role and went freelance initially and found us after a couple of years of not wanting to kind of be doing everything alone and is absolutely thriving. So yeah, we've got a really nice group behind the scenes who are all very supportive of each other. So that kind of brings me to the end. I'm conscious of time. There are a few QR codes there. So we have different routes. You can join as an active branded franchise partner with a defined location territory if you wanted to be a local business, or we have the active partner route, which is more of a white labeled route for someone who's already trading as a small marketing agency to be able to plug in everything behind the scenes. And that onboarding is much more straightforward, and yeah, the investment isn't as high as we're not setting your business up from scratch. So there's lots of options for you depending on the position you are at the moment and what you want to achieve. So those QR codes are there. The first one is new and it's not officially launched to the market yet. But we will be giving a 30-day free trial of a demo system, a behind the scenes system. So if you sign up to that QR code, you do have to put card details in to get the 30-day free trial, but you can cancel before the end of 30 days if you are in the system and it's not for you. That's absolutely fine. And along the way, we can have a discovery call and share lots of documentation for you so that you could see what the actual system looks like when you do go live. The brochure QR code, which is the second one, that gives more information of the active branded routes. And then if you want to book a discovery call directly in my diary, that is the third one. So I will come up this screen. We have not very long left. Let's see. Stop share. This is the part that always confuses me, the questions section. Let me find it. Are there any questions for the last minute? Let's have a look. Jessica, would you recommend putting packages and prices on your website or leaving it to proposal stage? So over the years, we have done different things for that. And I'm always happy to have a call and talk about it in more detail. There's arguments for both. And what we have got to at this point for things which are not something that they sign up, pay online, they're automatically onboarded through the system and an automation. We would put from prices and the ability to book a call behind the scenes, then delivering a proposal would be very quick because we've got Cora, who's our AI support, would be able to help with the proposal very quickly. So they can get the proposal quickly and they've seen that initial from price. We are moving more towards them be able to sign up on the website because a lot of people have wanted that. And so that's when we would actually show the specific price for a package. I think there are a lot of agencies that still don't show any pricing, and I think that it can really hinder the amount of leads that you're dealing with that can take a lot of time because I think it's important to manage expectation and where your pricing sits before you spend the time on a discovery call. So yeah, I hope that is helpful. There's another one. Mel, any advice on how you go about extending package services into retainers? I'm a little bit confused about how this works. So I mean, essentially, a package and a retainer is a similar thing, but it depends how you're setting up your retainer. So, if, for example, you have a retainer which is just on a day rate, then of course that's a situation where you're still trading time for money, which is what we want to avoid. So, say, for example, you had a client that, they were paying you for 2 days a month, for example, and a package could be delivering an element of that work, then I suppose it's about looking at the time you have available and defining what package sits within that retainer and what fee of that retainer that takes, and therefore how many hours, I suppose, are left from that delivery for other things. And what we've done in the past for this is say someone has like 10 hours a month left that they want to have that ad hoc support. What we would do is build out a list of services that they could choose every month to be delivered in the kind of ad hoc time, we would call it. So it could be, just off the top of my head, we write two case studies, put them on your website, position them within a funnel, for example. That could be one task. You know, something to do with video or whatever their business needs. Less so about saying you've got 10 hours a month, let me know what you want, because often, depending on how strategically you're involved in the client business, it can be that you're waiting for them to tell you what to do, and then you're not actually able to do the work because the client's too busy to tell you. If you've got that fixed list of options that you can pick from month on month, that you can actually proceed with doing that without their feedback, and you only change what was in the schedule unless they tell you, it means that you're never in a position where you thinking, I can't invoice this month because I haven't actually done the work that was needed there. So hopefully that makes some sense. But happy to have a call if you want to go into that in more detail. No problem. Um, Anybody else? I think that's it. Right, we're finishing on 1 o'clock. Thank you for coming. No problem, Mel. Thank you. Yeah, if anyone wants to chat, you've got the links, and I hope that was really useful. Enjoy the rest of your sunny Wednesday. Take care. Bye bye.